So this year, we started off with a theme in September, and we ended up having to change things around a little bit because my students, when I first brought up the idea of it being this coming year, the end of the year being 2020, and since we were still in 2019, they were like, what are you talking about? I was like, 2020 is a year that we are never, ever, ever going to see again. So we can't let that go by. Let's do something with 2020. And they're like, what do you mean? So we were talking about focused on our future, and we were talking about what's our vision for our future, and we were talking about looking back through time, and just a whole bunch of things about the vision. So Logan Ruyak, who a lot of you I'm sure know, some of you may not, she is a brilliant young lady, and she was our editor this year. She is the one that wrote the dedication or the theme of the yearbook writing. So I'm going to read that to you guys real quick, and then we're going to get to the dedication. So our theme this year, it's 2020, what's your vision? Our theme this year revolves around the way we view the future. What do we see for ourselves in the world around us? When we asked students what their visions of the future were, we received answers varying from freedom to robots will replace us, and of course, the obligatory, I don't know. So what does the future hold for us? Glacial melting, super viruses, war, violence, economic meltdown? Or is the future brighter than that? Will we live to see flying cars, booming economies, fully developed nations all around the world, and an international effort to save our planet? Will we colonize Mars or make the contact with alien life forms? Will we find a cure for AIDS? For cancer, will we save the world? How will each of us change? After we graduate, we could become models, artists, writers, engineers, doctors, naval officers, mechanics, athletes. How on earth are we going to choose? We could go to college or tech school. We could start working. We could get married and have children, or we could decide to focus on our careers instead. We could travel the world. With so many possibilities, obstacles, and opportunities facing us, it is nearly impossible to predict what the future will look like. Some of us have already assembled the jigsaw puzzles of our lives. Some of us have only just begun piecing them together. Others haven't even opened the boxes, and that's okay. No matter where you are on the spectrum, you are okay. The future is always unclear, no matter how far in advance we plan it out, so never feel obligated to decide exactly how you want to live the rest of your life. It is perfectly fine to take things day by day, as long as that's the way you want to live. And if it's not, that's fine too. It's great to plan things and work toward long-term goals. It's fantastic to know what you want to be, as long as you are okay with the fact that not everything happens as planned. Take this year, for example. It certainly hasn't turned out as we expected, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to make the most of it. We know you probably won't be able to get this book signed by all the people you want to sign it, and we know you might not see those people again for a long time. So instead of wasting the white pages in the back of the book this year, we want you to use them to write down your own vision of the future. Try drawing a few pictures, writing a few blurbs, and sharing them on social media. Ask your closest friends where they see themselves in 10 years, or where they see the world. Write down what everyone thinks, and then in 10 years' time, revisit this book. Connect with old friends, see where everyone really is, see how the world has changed, see how you have changed, and try to remember how you thought things would turn out back in a time when you weren't even certain that you could find toilet paper at the grocery store. Maybe you'll be surprised at how everything ended up, or maybe you'll be exactly where you've always pictured yourself. Either way, we're sure you will all turn out just fine, so try not to let everything going on right now darken your vision of the future. Let it instead illuminate all of the positive changes the world will see when we get through this. We live in a beautiful world, and we only need to open our eyes to see it. And written by Logan Ruyak. So I'm just going to go through a couple of the pages since we didn't get to really focus on it. And I know not everybody buys the yearbook. So, of course, we have the theme. But one of the things that we did this year was I was able to find the CDs at the administration building with all of our seniors who went to kindergarten in Pottstown. And 3/4 of the students had pictures. So most of the senior portraits have their kindergarten picture right next to their senior portrait. So that's a bunch of the pages. Then we go through, and of course, we have senior superlatives. Most likely to come back and teach in Pottstown, Chloe Hebert, among a whole bunch of other people. We have a lot of students that are interested in education, early childhood, a bunch of different things. And then we got into Spirit Week and homecoming. And there's Mr. Rodriguez in the H for homecoming. And who can forget Johnny Stillwell that day? That was the best reaction I think I've ever seen. It was hilarious. We went through the snowball. We had the Seussical. We had an amazing time with the Seussical. And we had amazing actors and actresses. We had last year's prom. We can't put this year's prom in. Well, there was no prom, really. Just the teacher prom. And Eileen Basham was the prom queen, by the way. Mini-thon and powder puff. We had the blood drive and the border battle. London and Paris. All over Europe. Lots of different clubs and activities going on. And a whole bunch of kids involved in all kinds of extracurricular things. We had DECA, and we had Interact, and we had robotics. You can see some of those fun robots right there. And of course, Trojan Man, who I think is a stalker because he follows people everywhere. We have all of the amazing career and tech programs. I know I'm clicking fast, but you guys can always look at one of the yearbooks when we come back to school. We have some really amazing students and staff. Science, I had a lot of fun. And Mrs. Moore, you need to show me how to do the Pringles challenge. Got to try that. We got some eyeballs, and we got some paper airplanes. And then, of course, we have our huge band, which I hope can get back together this fall. We had student life, and Miss Ellis had to include this. This was the best letterboard all year. We had people doing all kinds of things besides studying. And then we had COVID culture shock. So trying to come up with quite a few pages without enough pictures was somewhat difficult. So we added some things this year for the students to be able to write some things down. We added things that were happening. There's a Zoom board meeting with Mr. Amato right in the bottom. A whole bunch of different memes. There's the 35-year-old teacher after coronavirus. And then a whole bunch of pictures that were given to me by you guys telling the kids how much we miss them. And we had students who sent me pictures of things they were doing, such as drawings, Zooming, Chloe and Kristen. We had makeup and art projects, and we had sports, and we had Mrs. McCoy in the best outfit during this entire time. And we even had a student down here that did her entire wall with paint the first month we were out. A lot of pictures of kids with their pets, and a lot of people who were helping make masks, helping distribute food, and helping to take care of each other. This awesome idea, I'm not sure where it came from, but the PAC for 2020 did an amazing job putting the football stadium lights on all the way across the Pac-10. We had Mrs. McCoy, and I don't even know everybody that went out, but I know the people who were in the pictures. A lot of teachers that went out and made students so very happy with putting signs at their houses. Clearly, David just woke up. Not sure what time that was. And then we had a whole bunch of the year in review, and of course, all of our sports. And of course, we have at the end, we have all of the classes, each of the freshmen, sophomore. So let's go down. We also had a class of 2022, and then if I can hit on it, class of 2023. I need to get the advisors next year to make sure that they get in the picture, because the class of 2020, I used their actual portraits. And then we had some staff portraits, and we had just whatever we could find to fill up some pages. A lot of these are a little bit smaller because they were taken with cell phones and they couldn't be made really large. So we have all the staff, and then we have the Gizmo Coddington Glenn, who he's like a Where's Waldo, Mrs. McCoy said, because he's in a bunch of different places in the yearbook. He's really, here's another one of him. He's really integral. And then, of course, we have the senior baby pages. We have a whole bunch of them: Jake Eagle, Chloe Bear, Emily Weber. So if you guys want to see any of these, you just let me know. I bought a yearbook, so I have mine. We are close to selling out, believe it or not. I have 9 yearbooks left at this point, unless someone has gotten on since this afternoon and done something by ordering 1 or 2 or 3. So the honoree for this year's yearbook, how can I, here we go. Am I back on?
Yes.
All right. The honoree for this year's yearbook is someone who is beyond well deserving in my mind. He has gone above and beyond regularly for our school, for our students, for our community. And I am blessed to call him a very dear friend of mine. And this year's dedicee is Mr. Robert Decker.
Hey. Congratulations. Congratulations. We devils.
All right, so.
Congratulations, Bob. Oh, look at this.
It's got your name on the front of it. So let me go through the presentation real quick. I am hopefully gonna get this on correctly. So here is baby Bob Decker. Halloween. That's a Halloween. Yeah.
Who had that much hair? Wow.
That is.
Somebody gave that picture up of you. Oh my God.
You're not getting the next one. There's a better one.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
He used to be cute. That Halloween baby. Scorpios are very passionate people.
You're going to see those pictures.
Look at that hair.
Look at that tie.
Yep. And Bob, I know, had a rough year and lost his baby sister, Nancy, a few months ago, unfortunately. So we have a lot of pictures with Nancy. So I'm just going to read a little bit about Bob, and I'm going to attempt to continue to click these while I'm reading. So Mr. Robert Decker Jr., grew up in Allentown, and now lives in Honeybrook, Pennsylvania with his wife, Amy Anderson. His mother, Elsie, widow of the late Robert Decker Sr., also lives in Honeybrook, about 2 miles away from their home. His daughter, Melissa, lives in Yonkers, New York, with her husband, Michael, and their 2 children, Emmeline and Rebecca. He attended St. Paul's School for K through 8th, then Central Catholic High School, where he participated in band, guitar, and musicals, surprise, surprise, Oklahoma, and Fiddler on the Roof. He was also inducted into the National Honor Society. Surprise, surprise. He briefly attended Lehigh University, then pursued his first career in the food service industry. He was a restaurant manager for several businesses, including Rustler Steakhouse and Olive Garden, then later became a regional trainer for Wendy's. Once he got a taste of teaching as a trainer, he decided to pursue his second career as a teacher. He attended Ursinus College for mathematics, teaching certification, and Wilkes University for a master's in educational leadership. A teacher and mathematics department chair in the district for over 20 years, Mr. Decker has helped build numerous programs at the high school. Currently, he is a vice president of the Federation of Pottstown Teachers and an advisor for the Troiad's Robotics Club. He previously served as an advisor for National Honor Society, webmaster for the district, and Troiad Yearbook advisor. Mr. Decker was frequently seen on the stage at PHS and school productions prior to 2008, including Hello, Dolly, where he played a waiter and a judge, South Pacific, where he was in the ensemble, MASH, where he was Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake, and Guys and Dolls, Harry the Horse. In 2015, Mr. Decker was the producer for the first musical performed in the high school since 2008. Since then, he has served as producer, stage manager for every Pottstown musical production, both all district and high school only productions, including Grease, The Wiz, Little Shop of Horrors, Little Mermaid, and Seussical. In a journal written by students in the class of 2020 involved in Seussical, they individually thanked Mr. Decker for being so supportive. And yes, they got married on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. The entire run of Seussical was dedicated to the memory of Mr. Decker's sister, Nancy Decker Mullaney, who was tragically killed earlier this year in a horseback riding accident. Even outside of school, Mr. Decker has been involved in music and theater. For the last 17 years or so, he has been an active church musician, playing bass guitar, electric guitar, and handbells, as well as singing in choir and as a soloist. Some recent productions at Genesius Theater in Reading, both onstage and offstage, include The Bridges of Madison County, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid. This winter, he will be participating again at Genesius Theater in their production of Jekyll and Hyde as Sir Danvers Carew and stage manager. Congratulations to Mr. Decker. His leadership and inspiration are helping to build the next generation of community leaders. In a card written by students in his AP University Pittsburgh calculus class, they individually thanked Mr. Decker for pushing me and seeing how capable I was when I couldn't, for being a great teacher and mentor, and for making our learning experience amazing. In recommendations written for his master's degree program, former Pottstown principals noted that Mr. Decker is a consummate professional, a true team player, and a model for proactive planning for his department, his school, and his district. Just one more reason to say, proud to be from Pottstown. Congratulations, Bob. I am honored to call you my friend. And I don't know how your wife kept it under wraps so well.
She's a sneaky son.
We had what probably appeared to local police officers as a drug deal, as I drove up to her car window and handed off the yearbook to her and then drove away quickly. And then, of course, I forgot to hand off all of the photographs that she gave me to scan that were sitting right next to me. So I do still have them. But congratulations. This is so long overdue, and you are just... I am truly blessed to call you my friend. And thank you for everything that you do for us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Speak. Go ahead if you want to. If
Our
you,
students certainly make it easy. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have all of you as family, friends, peers, and to work with the students that we have at Pottstown. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thank you everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate that you took the time out tonight, even though we're technically out of school. Please wear your masks, stay away from people, stay safe. Love you guys and miss you all. Bye.
Thanks, Beth.
Bye.
Thank you, Beth. Congratulations. Bye, Beth.
Bye.
Bye. So Lauren, huh?
Well, you know, it would have been kind of obvious if it said Melissa Decker fans.
I did tell her not to use a real name.
They wouldn't let us change the name under Missy's account, so we had to go find a different way in.
And Sprat came on and I texted him. I'm like, mute your screen, get rid of your screen, change your name, get off of there. Obviously you would have figured it out if you saw him in there.
I was a little worried when I read the invite because my email was on there and I was afraid he would pick up on that. A. Anderson 31415. I'm like, how many? Oh,
Really?
yeah. Now. Oh no, he's gonna figure it out.
We were logged into this for like 2 minutes under Missy's name until we realized that her name was on there, and we had to quickly get out and come back in with Lauren.
I am.
Very well deserved.
Thank you very much, sir.
Although I will say, when I get my hands on some of those baby pictures, it won't be the last time you see them in public.
That's awesome. I have all of them. I'll send them to you tonight.
Thank you very much. So, you and I are gonna collaborate to put together a video that we're gonna be able to put out.
Yep,
Okay, cool.
absolutely. All right, Bob, I'm gonna hand this off to you, I think, if I can figure out how to do it.
Okay, he's got to say hi to his mom because she's
Hey,
on,
Mom.
but she's muted. Probably doesn't know how to unmute.
Oh, I don't know which one she is. If I can,
We need cookies to celebrate.
it won't let me unmute anyone else.
No trade clearing. Fancy clearing cookies are in order.
Can I unmute her?
Yeah.
It wouldn't let me unmute her either. She must be
Okay.
the one that just has a picture of the phone up there.
Yes. Oh, hello, Mom.